All right, so shooting a USPSA major with an anti-material handgun.
Yep.
And our Korean friend.
And our Korean
Hello.
homie, Rick.
All right, so what is a USPSA major is probably the first thing to cover on that.
Mm-hmm.
We specifically have him with us because you do this better than us. You've done how many of these so far?
Oh, how many majors I've shot?
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't really been keeping count. It's not like
How
a
many
crap
more than
ton,
us?
but I think on
so
average,
many more than anyone has shot one with a deagle, that's for sure.
yeah, I think on
You only lose
average,
2 when you win.
something like 3 to 4 a year, I think, and that,
Yeah, you see?
and I've been shooting for about 3 years for USPSA. So yeah,
a number of them.
yeah. So you want me to talk about what they are?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
is major?
sure.
What distinguishes
Yeah,
it from
specifically a major versus a
like a
regular
low,
match.
like a
Yeah.
level 1 local match.
So USPSA has in this particular organization of competitive shooting has 3 levels of competition. So level 1 is what you're going to most likely see as a local match. So your local gun range that has a club that is a membership under USPSA, and they're authorized to hold matches, do state designs, and upload scores, that whole jazz. And the round count goes from like 150, like 200. Something stages go from anywhere from like 6 to 8, 8 being like the maximum, and they'll have like 1 or 2 classifiers, which will count towards your classification in terms of where you will place in that range on your specific division. Now, when you go on levels 2 or 3, that's what we call majors. So at a level 2, you're going to see everything's amped up, right? So the stage designs themselves are a lot more difficult, more challenging, but then the number of stages goes upwards to like 11 or 12, right? And at a level 2,
the actual staff, there's infrastructure, they're chronoing your ammo, they're checking to make sure everything is on the level. There's debatable targets that you need infrastructure to keep setting up.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
It's more
cool
professional.
Part is updating your scores in like real time was also really neat.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, the professionalism is much higher. They're chroning your ammo, make sure that your gear and your ammunition is exactly correct to what division and category you're shooting under, and they also will have like the number of shooters equally, increases. So, a local maximum will be like 80-ish people. At a level 2, upwards to like 300, right? And it's usually it's like the best shooters in your state are converging to this one match for like this, and you can shoot it as a half of the match in one day, and then the next day you can do it as another half, or you can be a masochist and do all of it in one go on one day.
Yeah, the Bataan Death March day of shooting events,
right?
Where you're just like, I now hate a gun. After I don't want to look at my pistol for the next week.
Right.
After I've shot this entire day.
So it's pretty intense, and then usually at majors, this is where you have like you can start placing on podiums, getting awards, trophies for first, second, and third in your classification in your division. If you won overall, if you won your category, like for ladies, high ladies, or military veterans, or whatever, right, or seniors. So that's where you start getting recognized for achievements, stuff like that. Now level 3 is just like level 2, but now you're talking that the difficulty is much more amped up. It's still around the like 11, 12, 13-ish range of stages, but the competition can be upwards to like 500 shooters. And now you're seeing like the best shooters in the country going out of their way to fly out to these matches. Like,
I've noticed like every time you go up a level, basically there's like a big super, and it like takes the top 10% off of, say, the guys at your local match. Like, we did shoot with guys that we shoot with locally. I mean, we shoot together, but it's like the best guys. The only the best guys really are the ones who show up at majors. So all the guys most of the guys who go to the local matches, you're not seeing there all the time. It's just like they scoop top 10%, and then at like I say, it's level 3, the top 10% of that. Whoop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once you start, I mean, it's not unheard of to have like the super GMs come out of their way to fly out to a level 2, but level 3 is where it's going to be attracting. So you think of Area 1, Area 2. For us in Texas, it's Area 4. So they have specific USPSA designates regions to U.S. as different areas, and they have area directors, and that's when they have those annual level 3 matches. Now, You want to go higher than that. Now you're talking nationals, which is
Yeah.
now that's like the big honchos, the
And
best
the
shooters.
guys,
Yes.
and those are like invitation only, if I remember correctly.
It's not that it's invitation. The process to be in nationals is a little bit different. There's like a I think there's like a ticketing process with that. I think that if you like I'm trying not entirely sure. Like I've never been to nationals. My friends have. I think certain club owners who like can vouch for you. There's like a limited number of tickets that can get you a spot there. I'm not entirely sure. I do want to shoot nationals one day. I should probably get on that soon. I'm not getting any younger, but I'm definitely not. I'm not the best person to talk about that. But at the
Yeah.
national levels, that's where you're like, okay, the best shooters in the entire country are here. Sometimes international, like we had last year. We had fucking Eric Graffel come in, and
Yeah.
that's where you have a major match specific to your division. So carry optics nationals. They grouped open and PCC under the same one. So open PCC nationals. Then you have like limited, then you have production. So that's where you see like the top level
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, that's just a quick rundown of what majors are.
Yeah, and then I guess we could go to like, so I shot it with a Desert Eagle, and I'm definitely the first person to shoot a major with a Desert Eagle. Like, why that's crazy.
Yeah, real quick. What were you shooting for this?
Yeah, I was shooting the current meta for carry opt, which is just the Shadow 2. Yeah.
Hypersensible, great choice of a gun.
Yeah, perfectly normal. Like you can get if you're like looking to get into USPSA shooting and you're like, I want a gun for competition.
Probably not. Yeah, like say you've shot something and you're like, I'm done shooting like my everyday gun and I want to buy something for this. A Shadow 2.
Yeah. You can get in
That's
the
your
door.
first bet.
Yeah, you can get
Really
in the door on a Shadow 2 like $900 for some of them. You can get more expensive ones, but like you can get in the door at $900 for a banging out of the box competition gun, shoot it limited, see if you like it. You're in the run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I shot my very first match with was a Shadow 2. I think it might be that Shadow 2. It's one of those.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah. And then you were shooting.
I was shooting the portable battleship cannon.
Old Mostly Faithful.
Yeah, old Mostly Faithful. The not just a Desert Eagle, the 1989 Mark 1, Mark 7, even Magnum. It's so old, even Magnum Research doesn't actually have.
It's such a neat gun.
It is really cool. Like this was made in Israel in the 80s, presumably for like some relative duty purpose, maybe.
That's how all Desert Eagles have sort of started.
Yeah, well, that's how they started in the 80s, and then things changed at a certain point.
Soldier Fortune magazine had its way. Everyone would still have one.
That's true. Yeah, we were looking at I think the very first Desert Eagle video we ever did, we didn't really use. Like you and me were talking, we pulled up like one of the old articles from from Soldier of Fortune. Man, it was like the Americans' home defense choice, 357 or 44 Magnum. It was just like, dude, it was all the like. It was like man's life stuff. Like you want to fight off a home invasion of angry badgers. This you get like just it was. Awesome.
I won't say it won't work, especially against a badger, man.
I'll fucking blow a badger apart. Let me tell you. But yeah, so just like
the challenge of shooting that versus again say is very well put together conventional gun. I would say the first one is just the first-hand longevity per reset cycle. You've gone over that before, where it was literally shoot it, wash up.
Everyone else goes to a match and goes, I have my competition gun. I'm going to shoot this entire match. And then when I go home, if I feel like it, I'll give it a scrub.
Yeah, I'll consider cleaning
it. With the Desert Eagle, which is not meant to do anything that we've done with it at all, especially not one from this particular era.
Somehow hasn't stopped us.
Like somehow has not stopped us. Who cares what it was supposed to do? Run, baby, run. Daddy's got a whip and you're coming. But it's like shoot the stage, immediately break the gun down once it stops smoking from the heat and torching all the lubricant inside of it.
Yeah.
Clean the entire gun top to bottom while he watches like other people do things and help tape and like plots out the next stage.
That's the other thing about plotting it is you had to figure out so many reloads because I mean like most limited 10 guys, but you're playing with a 10% handicap on that already.
Yeah, playing 10%. Yeah, 10% handicap on limited 10 already.
And then you have to figure out, all right, if this gun will fail, like if something checks, like, is it going to be where I'm going to be able to like be moving? So I have some downtime, like extra seconds count here
Mhm.
to like fix that while I'm moving here to here. If that's going on, I'm at least in that null space.
Yeah.
So it was just like you're cleaning. I'm like watching everyone do their walkthrough after you figured out where you're going to reload. I'm like, all right, they're looking at these targets first. Maybe if you do that, and when you go, it's like help plan the routes again.
Yeah. Well, like it's funny too because like out of everyone who didn't disqualify, dead last for everyone who didn't
Right.
DQ. But also, I had a couple stages that I zeroed because I just had like colossal malfunctions. I couldn't clear quickly enough, or like the one where a whole bunch of like after we'd been shooting for most of a day, like a lot of the staff and some of the older guys that came to watch were like, "Where's that guy with the cannon? I want to talk to him."
Which players? And it's totally not on them. It's
No,
still totally on you.
I am very, very distractible, and there were a whole lot of things to distract me.
Yeah, they were out to make sure this guy doesn't place.
Yeah, I did. And I walked onto a stage with one magazine with like 6 rounds in it, and then like 5 magazines with like 1 to 0 in them. It
And
was
the
like
kickoff of that round, I mean, it was
Oh,
like
so good.
Mario Kart starting, and then just like
yeah, just like off the cliff immediately. It was like, well, I got they looked at me with the timer like, got no bullets, boss.
Yeah, like not to super linger on this point, but like for those who know, like I've been shooting with you for this past year on just random matches here and there, and when you start bringing out the deagle, USPSA and Steel Challenge, it's always funny to me just the immediate reaction we get out of people, out of ROs, out of other shooters there. I mean, during the Texas State Open, one of the ROs just wasn't paying attention because they don't really care what most people are shooting. But then, and when you started shooting the stage, and all of a sudden like a cannonball is going off, then I saw the visible shock and awe of our RO, just being like mouth gaping wide open, like what in God's name is happening right now?
Not pay attention to the fact that someone had just unsheathed like a battleship cannon and had pointed it at the targets.
again, literally anti-material.
Yeah, literally an anti-material. We have to see if we can find that manual of arms that actually says anti-material pistol somewhere.
Nice.
But yeah, and honestly, like one of the best parts about shooting it for me, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is like the second you start doing anything with it in USPSA, which it is not meant for. It is shooting competitively with a non-competitive gun, which most people, like a lot of guys who are super about competition,
Really underselling it.
are not about. Like everyone tells you who they are immediately. Like a lot, and most people are like, "That's fun." Like the staff at the end were like, "Dude, you're awesome. Like you get no shits, and you had a blast, and we had a blast watching." And I was like, "Man, that's why we did it. This was super fun." And then there's always people who are just like in the corner, like, "He's not taking my things seriously, man." Like, well, you're not invited to the barbecue, buddy. We're over here having fun times, doing fun boy stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about like difference in power factor. That
Yeah,
we're
let's
also
go to
talking
the
about.
chrono as well, I guess.
What is power factor? Like, so you shot was it carry optics minor?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can't shoot major in carry optics,
Yeah.
so minor is the only option. So mine was, I had ammunition specifically made for USPSA, the power
Mhm.
factor. So mine was like 127 power
Yeah.
factor for my 9mm.
Yes. Yeah, so the way power factor works, for those who don't know, is you have major and minor power factor. Not all divisions have major power factor, but major and minor power factor. Minor power factor is your standard, like 9mm most of the time, and it's 125 is the bottom, and it's bullet weight in grains times velocity divided by 1,000. I believe is what it is, and that gives you a score that's usually in the hundreds. 125 is the minimum power factor, and typically, in the 165 is major power factor. And major just means you get graded on a slight curve. Some of your hits, if you don't make perfect hits, it's not counted as much against you because you're shooting something that's larger that clearly has more recoil. Yeah, but you're always trying to, with power factor, if you're trying to be competitive, you're trying to ride the line. Like if you're going to get in major, and and the minimum to get in the door is 165, you're trying to get like, man, right there, like 165, 166.
Yeah.
You're trying to ride the line.
People who reload ammo, yeah.
Ha, and jump roped with the line a little bit, then threw it out a fucking window. Yeah, I clocked in at power factor 207. Shooting like
Watching the chrono for that was awesome.
Yeah, especially since other people have to chrono your gun, and like some of the guys were like visibly a little really, really nervous. Because one, if you hand someone a Desert Eagle who's never shot one, they're like, "How does this operate?"
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Welcome to the most exciting part of your day. My longest mag, they're all the same size.
I don't think. Make ready. Place your weapon on the X.
All right, slide open.
Okay, here we go.
You think I'm gonna make power factor, boss? It's got that weird reverse safety. You have to click it up.
So you pull.
You pull the safety up. It looks like it's on fire right now. So if you want to drop it, then drop the slide.
Drop the slide.
Well, no, I'm saying so if you want to put it on safe before you drop the slide, now it's on safe.
Okay.
You can drop the slide and then pull it up to put it on fire.
And how do you drop the slide? It's got some stick to it.
Those springs are stout.
Here.
I'll get it.
Oh, it's so clear.
Alrighty.
Safety's reversed than most other safeties. Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily reversed. It's reversed in the concept of like for a single action gun, why would you use the safety of a P8?
Yeah, they were like designed for like someone to pull them out and be like, "I need to kill that car." Black, die, engine block. Like they were not meant to like fast draw, start cleaning USPSA targets as quick as you possibly can.
Right.
Or like use it for, you're not supposed to conceal carry them.
Did that too.
I did that too. I shot an entire steel challenge match from concealment, which was
that was neat.
That was fun.
Literally just.
Are you ready?
Attack helicopter.
Stand by.
Yes.
Woo! 3, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Did that.
So I guess now that we've covered Chrono, which was ostensibly your best stage.
Yes, it was my best stage. I won Chrono. I am number one. I have stage win chronograph. Everyone got points allocated based on like, there's like I don't know if there's a maximum, but it was like I got 207 chrono points. Stage win chronograph.
Nice.
Do you know what your points for that were off the top of your head?
This was like 127, I think.
The power factor? Yeah. I
guess it's just like your points of power factor. I don't know how
I
it's
think
done.
the power factor is just the points.
It's still
because everyone's basically the
It's a
same.
very fun moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we need to go on to like best, worst, and we'll throw in like a favorite stage for both of you on that. And
Sure.
that way we can do again Rick Deagle, as I'm calling this, where it was how did you do on your best stage? How did he do on that stage?
Mhm.
Okay.
Your worst stage, how did he conversely? And what's one y'all both really liked?
Sure, yeah. You want me to start?
Yeah. Well,
cool.
We'll help you do it, and then
I will screen share with you guys just so the sake that you can see what I'm looking at, and then but on my screen the viewers will see it. So let's see what we can start with. We'll start with 2A. Why not? 2A. We'll go from first person. Let's do third person first. We'll go from here. So this one is unique in that it actually requires 3 shots for target instead of 2. It's still Comstock, but it's instead of 2 back shots, it's 3 minimum. So that's why you're seeing triples.
Yeah, and so for those who don't know, Comstock scoring basically means there's no maximum amount of time you can shoot. Like you're supposed to put 3 hits on each target, but if you want to mag dump every target for some reason because you're a lunatic who doesn't care about money and time,
Yeah.
Best of
yeah, you can just empty the gun into them and they will score your best 3 hits.
Yep.
Most people
Are you ready?
just shoot the minimum, or
Stand
maybe
by.
like a couple extra for players if they're not really confident.
versus the Vinny count, right?
Yeah.
Vinny count is the maximum things that you can shoot. Most stages in the USPSA probably count.
Yeah. So we saw both in first person and third person. So just right off the bat, we'll start off with third person. And anyone who's getting into competitive shooting, I highly encourage you. You don't have to have a first person view camera like an Instacam, but having someone be able to just record you on your phone is it's incredibly valuable to be able to just diagnose or look
It's
at
funny.
things.
There's like all these weird, like kind of funny unwritten rules to like being in a USPSA squad. It's like, all right, you guys tape. You help him set up. You run his camera and then he'll run the camera for you later. There's like
Right.
like everyone expects to be like, oh yeah, part of helping the squad is filming people for the gram.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
Even if it's not for the gram, it's for their own like.
It's
yeah,
for
so
the
they can
yeah.
watch themselves after.
It's for assessment, and then more than that, let's say like you're new and you don't know what to look out for. You can take that footage and bring it to someone who's more knowledgeable, and they'll give you feedback. I've done that for people. I've had people do that for me. So, it's always good to record stuff. So starting off,
Mhm.
we have to start this fault line. It's very simple. Honestly, there weren't too many ways to run this. I mean, if you wanted to be weird and run all the way forward and go backwards, you could have. But the only variation of this stage was really like after these first two. Right, we're done here. Was like
Yeah.
when you would want to hit that pad, right? The activator switch here. Because when you hit it, when you start walking a stage, they let you see this first. The first shooter up is allowed, and everyone around them gets to see the how the activator looks. And in this one, it happens immediately. When you stomp with your foot, it comes out immediately, maybe like a second and a half for it to come out or something like that. So I chose to hit it immediately. Some people chose to hit it backing up, whatever, right? And so the choices I'm making here is the second that thing drops, I'm smashing it trigger. I'm smashing all three because there's a very limited window here, right? So and this is a concept that goes to every single level, no matter what kind of shooting you're doing. That I want people should understand is there's different levels of confirmation in terms of what you're visually doing and how you're reacting to something. So, um, if I'm, for instance, sorry, let me go bring it back. So there's confirmation level ones, two, and three. That depending on what school of thought you're at, level one is basically what we call predictive shooting, or the fact that we are pulling that trigger as fast as we can as soon as we have like a blur of an image of our sights on that target, what we deem to be acceptable. And this would be something like the bill drill, for instance, right? Or something point blank, or even something as like an open target at 7 yards. Like you bring your sights to that A zone, and you are smashing that trigger as fast as you can, right? And it should be that your grip is solid. Things return visually. You're being focused on that small part of the target. So when you shoot, it comes back exactly what you're looking at. But you're not sitting over there confirming like, oh my God, is that sight perfect exactly where it needs to be? No, you don't have time for that. Yeah,
You're not like bang, bop,
right,
bang,
right,
bang.
exactly.
You're just like, dude, it's
grip
ideally
and
your
rip.
grip is good and you're resetting and you're just
Right.
every time
And
it's where it's supposed to be.
visually, it's like, for my case, it's a red dot. I'm seeing a streak of red, happening
Yeah.
there, right? So, given that this is an open target, it's not terribly far away, and I only have a very small window to hit it. I'm smashing that confirmation level one. Now, level two is we call it like dot press. We call that predictive, right? That basically means that when I'm focused on that target, I'm putting a little bit more time to get that confirmation. That dot's there. As soon as the dot's there, I press trigger, bang, and then as soon as the dot returns exactly what I'm looking at, I'm pressing trigger again. So it's dot bang, dot bang, dot bang. We call that reactive. I'm reacting to my sights, right? So after I just got done shooting this open target, I immediately go to this partial no shoot target. But because this target is obviously more difficult to hit than this one, because of the no shoot and there's consequences of hitting a no shoot, I'm being a lot more. I'm giving more confirmation to what I am shooting at. So like a level two. So here and 1, 2, right there. So 1, 2, 3. So that's what I'm doing on that regard. So that's something when you walk through a stage, you should be keeping in mind. What level of confirmation am I going to afford each target given my skill, like my ability? Like I'm not Super GM. Super GM guys, they could push out that level one probably to a greater distance than I can, which they find acceptable because that's their level of skill. So it will vary depending how good you are and how just precise and how on it you are, like visually. Or as Wansit Kim would say, vision focus, right? So being vision focus. So we're over here, and over here, this is just a very very easy. We just go through report again. Open target, smash that shit, right? And as you can tell, this is a short form stage. You got to push speed, right? This is not the time to gingerly walk up to something, make sure your front sight and your rear sight are lined up, and let's see if we can make every shot count. Like no, like you are judged on accuracy, but also speed.
Yes, a lot of new shooters is they go like, okay, I need to go here, and they're like, they'll jog there, like, okay, I need to go here, I need to go. It's like when you watch guys who are like balling, they're like, no, I sprint there, and then they're not. Right, I don't need to stay in the track if I'm not shooting. Straight line between this and that.
There are different, so we call this, right. And so in terms of speed, it's not so much that I'm physically stronger and faster than you. I'm just like, it's more about you've done it enough times and you know some certain techniques that can make you more efficient with what you're doing. Yeah. So, for instance, this is what we call exit and entries. How I am entering a position to shoot a target, versus how I'm exiting out. Because what do they usually do? You kind of touched upon it earlier. Most people would run up to a target, they'll set their feet, then they raise their guns, then the sights come, and then they shoot. But what you should be doing is, the target's already there. Run up there, pre-aim, have your sights up already in that target. So before your feet are even setting still, your sights are on. So the second you're stable, you're ripping shots because you're not wasting any time being stable and putting your gun up. You're kind of mixing 2 to 3 motions at once, right? Which we'll see right here.
You're trying to be like super efficient. You're running before your sight. You're not waiting for your sights to settle to get that third picture. You're just like that, and you're just going.
Exactly. So if we watch here, more or less that's what's happening. So I've already pre-aimed because why wouldn't I, right? This is a port. It's open target. My foot. I don't even have to have my foot completely settle in there, right? Bam. And look how close it's basically point blank. Like, really, am I going to miss the A zone from here? No, right? So, yeah, that's just some simple things to consider when you do your stage run. So that's one of my better ones. And if I recall, that was day one, and I had 2 previous rough stages because I made really dumb mistakes early in the morning, and then I was kind of finding my groove by the 3rd stage, which was this one. So this is one of my better ones. I was like,
it's also the first stage we ran into things like the pedals and stuff as well.
Yes, so the activators.
It had activatable targets with like something you'd stomp on.
Yeah.
And which you almost don't see those at like level 1 matches. You see them at
level... you can, but they're not super common. Yeah,
it's not very common. They're more complicated. They require someone to know how to reset them up. There's
and the club just having them on hand.
Yeah, the club has to have them on hand. There's like a mechanism. It's already difficult enough to get the infrastructure out there. Like having those up, like they put those out like a week in advance, and then have a long time to take them down.
That's why it was fun seeing you go like 1 stage, 2 stage, and now this one like adds another little caveat to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
cool little thing.
Yeah, so that stage in particular, that was 2A, and that was I placed 46 overall out of 315 and like 17th out of 25 for out of 114 for carry optics. So it's one of my better ones. I felt pretty good about like 80, a little above 80%. And then we'll talk about Leighton. How did you do in that one for stage 2A?
That one, I think it went fine for me. I did. That one is one of the ones where you have to fire 3 shots at each target. What you have to do, golly,
plan reload.
So the Desert Eagle has some, just to shoot this in competition, which again, not meant for it. Not meant for it at all. You have to plan your stages so differently. Like instead of planning like stage efficiency, like you are planning stage efficiency to a certain degree, but it's also like, okay, I get 3 targets. Like if
at best.
At best I get 3 targets, and also I have to be very careful when I yoink. So the magazines on the Desert Eagle, I've got an empty mag, and then I've got a snap cap in here. There we go. So the way that these magazines work is like 357 is like a big long crayon inside these mags. And they're relatively heavy, and especially when it's really, really packed. Like these have to be loaded at exactly the right angle. The feed lips have to be just like perfect. The spring tension needs to be balanced. So a lot of times we're trying to go really fast. Yeah, if you're trying to go really if you're me and only me currently, and you go what? Like sometimes
movement here.
Yeah, sometimes the crayon will get seated a little bit, which on a 9mm, not that big a deal. You just it just goes in the gun still.
9mm a rimless cartridge.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. the 357 is also a rimmed cartridge, so like the rim will hang up on stuff in the magazine and in the gun if it's not seated exactly where it's supposed to be and fed at exactly the right
Damn.
angle. So shooting from slide lock reload is not what you want to do if you have to run this gun.
Which is worth when you're shooting threes.
Yeah. So like, I think I literally I dove into the stage, 3-shot string directly at the target to the left, hard sprint right because there were 2 targets over there, and I was like, okay, I can just 3 hard sprint to the spinner target. I stomp on the box as I'm doing my reload, and my reloads actually with the Desert Eagle are really fast.
When it feeds properly,
when it feeds
man,
properly.
it's crazy to see.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, in terms of reloading, I only had the issue on the reload of a few times. It's just slide lock reloads are not ideal if you're doing this, but
At speed, especially.
at speed, it is not
When
meant
it's
to run.
forward, it does give you that little extra chance at functioning properly at speed.
Yeah, so on my first reload, I had a flub where I basically just yoinked the magazine out too fast. One of the rounds kind of wonkily seated in there, so I went to I was like, oh, dead go.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't go in the mag well quite right. It got canted the wrong angle, so I had to strip around, load the gun, hit the target.
Wild.
Hit the targets, and then as I run to clear the last targets down the stage, I plug one, and I'm like, oh right, I don't have the right round count that I planned on having when I got here because I'm -1. So I had to do run up the target bum, reload directly in front of the last target
I mean,
if that was a person, they're so threatened right now. With that scene in John Wick where
swear
he
to
hits
God,
the
when
guy
I
and
get this in this gun, you're dead.
Yeah. Specifically for what your division. Yeah, limited 10 and revolver, those are the division most specifically. Their stage design has to revolve around their reloads because you get so few and you're set there, so they have to plan efficiency, the same things the rest of us are doing. But most of us, carry optics, I can run 24+1 mags. You know what I'm saying? So that stage, you notice I didn't reload at all. I didn't have to. Yeah.
And someone and they asked me something about oh yeah, well if you have to clean this target, I was like, clean targets? What are you talking about? Everything gets 2. We get what we get. There's no extra. There's no extra shooting. What are you?
Yeah.
Are you a madman?
He basically showed up Rambo's bow and arrow versus his gun, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, you're like Little Caesars. It's hot and it's ready. Is it gonna hit? I don't know, but it's hot and it's ready.
Sometimes it's ready. It's hot, and sometimes every target gets what it gets.
Also, it's $5.
Yeah, exactly. Every magazine. Yeah, it's clean. If you have to clean these extra targets, I'm like, no, I don't want each of these targets to cost $2 to murder this paper person.
Right.
That's when we're shooting threes. I was just giggling at the cost.
Yeah, literally $2. $2. just murdering cardboard people.
Do you want to move on to my next
so
stage, or do you want? How do you want to?
Yes. We'll do your worst stage on that, and then we'll move to your favorite.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
And it's not even your objectively worst. If what you would even call maybe how you thought you'd be the worst, based on
no
what
worries.
you could have done.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for me that would be,
The dude at the
it's
start.
this one, stage 6. So stage 6 is another triple. Funny enough, so there were two triple shot stages, right? And this is another one of them. This was day 2.
Funny enough, the best and worst are triple shots.
Yeah,
and have a spinner.
I actually loved this stage because it was
a blast.
This was really fun for me, but for a totally different reason. We'll let you talk about how it went for you, and then I'll giggle over how. It went for me.
So to be clear, there weren't super glaring bad mistakes. Being if you hit a no shoot or there's a mic, those would tank scores. Now, what I ended up losing out in was time because which you'll see in a second was having to waste time going back for something or wasting time on mistiming a moving target, a swinger, or something like that, or wasting time in terms of not hitting a reload when you should have hit a reload. So these are all the little things that add up, and when you're trying to be competitive at a major, all those little mistakes, if they keep happening consecutively, will end up tanking you. And that's actually what happened to a number of my friends who are very, very good shooters, but because those little things keep adding up, they kind of they performed less than what they're usually being able to do. But this stage would be a fantastic example of just a pile of fucking mistakes being piled
Before
up.
you hit that, would you call that part of call it the big game jitters, if you will, of
Yeah.
just like really mounting on, where it's like we're doing this for actual points, dog, not just like fun gunning over at another range like we do a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's like any sport, right? There's an aspect of human error because we're not perfect, but are you able to recover and are you able to still recover, rally back, and still put on a good show? No matter
that's a
what.
big deal when someone can do that.
Yeah, 100%.
I will
So
say, way easier to do that when you're operating at a level of like, fuck it, we ball. Like,
Yeah.
like, but going into this match, like we get you to matchbook in advance for level 2s. They really, you get to look at the stage.
That is
list in
another
advance
nice part that we forgot to cover. Like,
also
getting to see your stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
Is really cool.
very helpful. There are a couple stages where you're like, man, I'm really worried about like having to move and do this and make this shot that I don't want to get a mic on this. And I'm like, yeah, man, if I was like really invested in my score on this,
right.
It was like, man, every time I was on the stage and I had like a malfunction, it made it so much easier to not be like and like panic, just being like, oh, okay.
Well, it was a one time, but we'll get there.
Other than one, we'll get to that one.
Yeah. So over here, we'll just play it.
Stand by.
Unloaded start, mags on table. So we're starting strong. There we go. And we mixed up. I'd go back for that. And this is not a good angle to see it. We'll see it in first person. Yeah. So just from the get-go, like it doesn't look like the worst thing, but this is another short form stage, and the second you have the little things that make you have to waste time, it adds up, right? So right off the bat, this is all fine, right? Up until the fucking second target, right? Because I had some trigger freeze happening. So for those who don't know, trigger freeze is literally like you are attempting to go fast because you want to pull fast splits in that trigger, but then you're over tensing your hand, and as a result, your index finger and your shooting hand is over tense, and you're not letting the trigger reset. And therefore, when you think a shot's being done in the follow-up, it's not happening. And so
you'll watch guys like go really fast. They're like bam, 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 and they'll hear like bam, bam. Like
right.
You'll hear this like weird stutter thing. It's because like their brain was going faster than their body was operating.
Yeah,
the thing.
Correct. So that would be what happened here. So I had to go back for my third shot, which is, again, it may not be much, but that is a total time waster, right?
Well,
now,
the part of this that also was making us laugh watching it was like, so the way that those spinner activators work, which is, so if you're blocking it out, like where your body is.
Let's just go to the first person footage. Yeah, and it'll be a lot more clear.
Are you ready?
Yeah, first person footage.
Stand by.
So the little metal target back there, so you it's like, okay, clear these for 3 shots. You got there you go to the brain, that hitting that activator.
Yeah. You can see how long it took for it to turn because my ammo is, okay, to be fair, at this specific gun range, gun range, it has like an obnoxious, very stubborn steel, and it's caused issues for everyone at local matches that I shoot here and at majors, and that would be another kind of classic example of that. Like my ammo maybe not being as hard hitting enough or whatever, but I had originally.
The way it works is the steel standing up, it gets hit, and instead of it falling backwards directly, it goes bong and it bounces into a spring and then goes forward.
Right.
So basically, what a lot of guys
forward falling steel.
Yeah, to efficiently do the stage would they maybe like, okay, they'd run up and maybe they'd hit the steel, and then while the steel is like backing up and falling and doing its thing and activating the spinner, they're like hitting other targets, they're clearing left and right. Then going back to the spinner, the steel is activated, just to be efficient. And like you hit the steel, and you're like, we're just sitting there watching Eric's brain, like just like dial tone, like It's just like,
Yep.
Just like turn.
So the issue being is that I had seen two of my friends shoot this before me. One of them was a different squad, and I just saw it on his Instagram, and then one of them was actually on our squad. And so I watched it, and then shout out Phil. Yeah, so Phil, when I watched Phil shoot this,
I love that guy.
and yeah, Phil's a speed demon, right? But he had his order of shooting was paper, steel, and an activator, the drop turner. Or sorry, was that a drop turner? No, it was a swinger. It was a swinger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's just like
oh, it's a drop turner.
Yeah,
Never
sure.
mind. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, like when this happened, similar to me, he had to wait like forever and for his turn, so he's wasting time. And then I watched our buddy Gil when Gil shot out, because he was the first to shoot on the stage, I believe. When he shot, and I was specifically looking at the timing of when this steel would fall and when this activating, drop turn would happen. It happened for him immediately, and so that changed my plan. Okay, I'm gonna go left tuxedo paper steel immediately go to the drop turner. But then, as you can see
problem
here,
that happens there too is if you hit it really high,
yeah,
you actually can impart basically more of a more leverage type force. So it'll like
Yeah.
boom, and it goes faster.
right,
When I shot it, didn't fucking matter where it got hit. Like every time I had a turner that was activated by me shooting a thing,
Right.
it was like, oh, look at that! I want that spinner to go now. Kablam!
right.
And then it was just like,
Hold on.
wow.
We're gonna put that. That's in the pros for shooting a deagle in here.
Yeah, instantaneous spinner activation.
Finally, we got a good one.
Yeah.
Power factor and the steel does what you want now.
Right.
Yeah, activation immediate.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
like
the
one
remote for
advantage. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, basically pointing a Harry Potter wand that just turns the spinner on.
So yeah, that'll and the mistakes don't end here. Funny enough, but wait, there's more, right? So
Yeah.
I'm done here.
It's impressive with you having that many in such a short stage because I see you like at other ones just basically sleep through it and blow most people's times out of the water.
Well, yeah, appreciate it. It's just and that goes to a point. Like you can never predict when a shitty malfunction happens. Your gun jams, doesn't eject. You miss a reload, but whatever it may be, you miss time to reload. You have to still like rally and make it happen, right? Because I know very few people that have ever gone through an entire major without some kind of fuck up, right? It's just gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
You just have to recover in the moment, and to be honest, that only comes with time and experience. So,
Yeah. It's going to happen with regular guns. It's definitely going to happen if you're shooting something that's not like made
By stagely.
Yeah, not at
Yeah.
all made to do this.
So immediately after this, so I had elected. Usually I wouldn't do this, but you have to start with magazines on the barrel, and instead of wasting time, I would normally do this if it was a longer stage of like taking two of my mags, putting one on the magnet on my belt, and then putting the one in the gun. To leave it on the barrel because I have to go through that direction anyway, so I might as well just take the magazine on the barrel and then reload on the move, right? And for those who don't know, you always want to plan your reloads on the move. Anytime you have dead space of lull time, use that time to make a reload so you don't have to do a standing reload. The last thing you ever want to do, in the perfect world, is do a standing reload. So, but what happens here is hilarious because I have two mags. I usually carry three mags, so I have a third one here. And the RO had told me, "Oh no, put all your mags in here." And I'm so happy he did because this happens. If you saw that, the magazine, I knocked over my mag, and there it is. And mid screw up because my arm is still here. I was able to grab that third magazine. Thank God I did. So I didn't waste too much time being able to hit that reloading. Yeah. So. Yeah, have extra magazines,
Yeah. Oh, I always did. Never a problem for me. I actually, at the beginning of that stage, we can throw mine up there. I mean, I have screw it. We'll just use the goofy edit that I made because that's funny.
Sure, you want me to stop screen sharing and we can go to
Yeah. I'll do mine. Let's see, screen. We'll just whatever. Entire screen.
And while we're waiting, I'll just quickly see how I performed on there. That was stage 6. Yeah, I was like 154 out of 315 overall, and then the fucking That was a carry optics. That was 62. Yeah. Ugh.
I love Yeah. So I'm like, I grabbed one of the mags knowing I was going to need to do more of a reload. Like three, slower three, hard three, and then slide lock reload. So slide lock reloading off the table way easier, and then just instantaneous, like steel go down. Yeah. And then I'm like, some guy on Reddit got so mad about that I dared to use Joe Biden, like just pausing. And I was like, oh, thank God I put that extra mag on my belt for that last.
There you go. So that was
Yeah,
actually pretty good.
Mags, it was
Yeah.
there.
Speaking of spare mags, it
That was
was
actually
there.
not that
Yeah,
bad.
Right in clutch.
It worked out great.
Love that. That was
also a really
solid.
fun stage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them were really cool, and you really see professional stage design in these as well. Is another thing to bring up. Like 180 traps, no, there really was none. Versus again, our biggest performing video is about that right now, and man, I could not find a single complaint in this stage design. It was phenomenal.
No, there was nothing to gripe at, and honestly, that makes that. And like in terms of running a big event too, like God, don't give the people who are already like so hyper focused on their score an extra dumb thing to get upset about.
Don't make safety the barrier.
Yeah, don't make safety the
Yeah.
barrier. And it worked, and they didn't, and it worked out great. And everyone like, like sure people were upset that they didn't shoot good, but like everyone, like there weren't any complaints about stages.
But all the stages were put together. They had a great flow to the stages, watching it all happen, and it was really neat. And it was really good as they were challenging enough by adding an actual challenge, not like, will I get DQ'd and all of this or not?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good kudos to his name was on all the stages, like Gil something. Like,
Gil YOLO.
Gil,
His last name is literally YOLO. Gil YOLO. Yeah.
Gil YOLO.
Yeah.
Gil YOLO, you
It's a
did a
rad
fucking
name.
great job, homie.
Yeah. Like the guy,
A++.
I've never met him, but I've heard of him. He's very good at shooting, obviously, and he likes putting on very tricky stage design. So
Yeah,
Like,
and
they
it was the right level of like
super well put together.
Yeah, the right level of like complex yet not like so complex that it's just like silly, and also like engaging, and the flow was good.
And there was enough for a couple of the stages where like you could see people like, he did it really fast. I shot about as fast as him last time, but I think if I go this way, it'll help me more. And you could see it really play out that way. Like there was not just only one super good way to break down some of those stages. That was really cool to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Open world Skyrim stage design. I can totally play it my way. I'm doing the field this time.
Did we want to go to my like actual best stage in terms of numbers, or what do you want to do?
Was that your favorite?
No, funny enough, my favorite is the one we're going to cover
I don't know how
anyways.
long people want to listen to us ramble about stages, but
No, I think I'm good. Leighton, let's just go to you. Show us your best and worst. I think that'll be more...
I'll go with my my best. My
Go ahead and
worst
screen share. Go ahead and screen share.
Yeah, I'll hit the screen share one. Do. Tab. Oh, right. Entire screen. Screen share. All right. Yeah, so stage. I called it stage 2. I forget what the actual stage name
It
was.
was stage 2 for us.
It was stage 2 for us. It was right after we were doing the one where we had to switch and do it one-handed. Oh, they're shooting one-handed.
Oh, you're talking the very first stage we did?
Yeah, the very first stage.
Second.
The second stage.
The one with the tunnel?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the low port? The low port.
Yeah.
That I believe was stage 1.
Yeah. So I mean, and just in terms of like how this stage was set up, one, it was like simple, like relatively simple and engaging, and it catered to, like what I had available. It gave me like it's great. It's awesome for me on any of these where I can like, okay, I can hit the right number of targets and reload on the move, and if I nail my reloads, it's gonna flow really, really, really well. And this stage,
that paid off.
Oh, it paid off really, really well. See, it's funny. Like when someone was asking me, like, "Hey, did you beat anyone with the Desert Eagle?" It's like Overall, no.
Yeah.
Dead last overall, but on some stages, yes. On this one, like out of 305 people, I placed like 245th or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, so, not like top of the pack or even middle of the pack, but like 40 something people took an L to an idiot with a cannon and a helicopter hat.
Those are impressive splits for a fucking Desert Eagle on partial no shoots.
Oh, and well, it's shooting the Desert Eagle and you just like this, like performance shooting, whatever you want to call it. Like no one building the Desert Eagle or in thinking of a use for the Desert Eagle.
Wait, can you go back to when you go prone on the port again?
Oh yes.
Just pause there.
Yeah,
here it is.
People kept sending me this screenshot from like Reddit and on Facebook and being like, "Ooh, daddy."
I like because I was the one that recorded the third person. And I was like, this guy is doing like a half modified piston squat, attempted urban prone or something. Everyone's laughing. The entire squad is like laughing.
That's how he shoots his pistol.
It's so funny because I was like, there was like a dumb part of my brain was like, I'm gonna go down, and I was like, wait, no, I can't like lay down in here. That's stupid.
Think like an Israeli.
Think like an Israeli.
Yeah. Literally at this moment in time, the entire squad is just like losing it, man. We're all just
what is happening. Also, everyone is like laughing and or just like again, it's like you ever watch the Monster Truck Parallel Park? Like your brain is being like, there's something happening in front of me, but I don't understand why.
Is this greatness or just more confusion?
Well, and like the Desert Eagle really does, like as a gun for what it's meant to do, it has a really good single action trigger. It really does have a good trigger pull. It has good sights.
I call it good for like a duty gun, which is like it's a duty style trigger.
Yeah, well, it just has like there's a lot of distance between the sights. Because it's such a long gun. There is like a really good like anti-glare sort of like step setup up here. So
I do wish that was on the rear sight.
Yeah, I know. I do too. But for what it is, like you want to pick up that front sight, even when it's like it's solid metal.
Like, you don't even need to paint it, honestly.
Yeah,
it shows up great.
It shows up great, and all like through the entire match. One of the things that was very consistent, you can see it every time I hit steel, is like the first like transitional shot. They're banging. Like I have a bunch of them where I'm just like going through like steel like single shots. I'm just like cling, 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 and like even some of them where I'm making like 15-yard shots on somewhat low percentage steel, just like zipping them.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the follow-ups at speed where things get real tricky.
Yeah, you were talking about your what do you call it when it's not presentation? His
it's just
level type 1.
Yeah, type 1 shoot. Yeah, like everything is like so. Basically, what happens? The order of operations. And again, we were talking about this little thing that ended up not being recorded. But so. If only Ben Stoker knows at some point how much of his stuff I studied to shoot dumb stuff good, like studying his stuff on how appropriately shooting doubles, how to think about doubles, and how to do like occluded shooting to shoot the retard cannon fast.
Functionally, he's shooting occluded on purpose.
Yeah.
Yours is just by default.
Yeah, by default. Yeah, and it's a whole different kind of occluded. So basically, if you're shooting a fast split. You go, okay, the target is there. I've got a good sight picture. Bang! And the second you pull the trigger, you see it on camera sometimes if the shutter catches it, but everything in front of you, and not just the target, everything in front of you becomes a ball of fire that is this big. It's not the target isn't occluded. The sights aren't occluded.
The Eye of Sauron.
The stage is occluded for a second. You just flashbang yourself repeatedly, over and over and over again.
Literally, Metal Gear Solid 2 when you're using the camera to fight. Was it Vamp?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're ripping fast splits, it's like boom. That was a good. And like I do get like relatively frequently because I've practiced with it so much, I do get a lot of pretty good 2-shot groupings on splits. But the second shot, it's because I'm basically doing like predictive shooting because there's no seeing the target really fast after the first shot.
Yeah.
The target's gone.
Yours is not even included. Like mine, my gun, I oftentimes will shoot occluded, but I still see the target because I'm using my non-dominant eye to be able to see the target. It's just me being able to see the dot, and this is encouraging me to be more target focused with a dot. But what you're doing is just blind. You're just being blinded, right? Because now you can't even see the target.
The target is the target is gone. I'm basically just relying on my muscle memory knowing where the gun is going to reset because I practiced with it so much.
No, you're just
like
Johnny Yen and John Wick 4.
First shot John Wick, second shot Donnie Yen.
You're just using echolocation to find your alpha.
Echolocation to find the target.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're because of like how ridiculous that sort of methodology of shooting you have to do is like if you're running fast, it's like there's a whole lot of like, man, if every target on every stage was like a transition shot, man, I'd be in the mix somewhere. But no, like there's a whole lot of
everyone would be shooting so fast at that point. I hate to break it to you. They would just be like light speed. They would have been done with like another major by now.
By the time I'm through the second stage. No, I've already shot the entire, I registered as 3 different people. Doing laps. But you get a lot of sometimes it's alpha, and I'm locked in. It's like alpha. Even though I basically didn't see the target for the second shot. But there's a whole lot of
just that
Alpha Charlie, Alpha Delta, Alpha, who fucking knows where that went?
Still impressive he brought up your splits. There's still crazy impressive splits.
Yeah.
And we're shooting a Magnum caliber.
Yeah.
That blinds you.
Yeah.
I guess
was that one of your best stages?
Favorite stages. We can do worst stage, or we could just go to
let's go to the really fun one.
Yeah,
let's do the limited time one.
Yeah, the limited time stage is awesome.
Okay,
It
was
just crazy to see.
So, stage 2B. So fixed time. Fixed time means that, as it is implied, you are given a set time that you have to complete this stage. If you shoot over that, you'll be penalized. And fixed stage usually inherently means Virginia count. So Virginia count means that if it tells you it's 16 rounds, it's only 16 rounds, which means that it being a normal 2-shot per paper is that if they see an extra hole, you'll be penalized for that on that paper. So you only have 16 shots in total, which is 8 USPSA targets typically. And the fixed time they dictated, because they usually do a run with some people to figure out what is an achievable time, was 8.7 seconds, which the caveat being that you can shoot up until 9. Your last shot can break at the 9-second mark, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, around that.
It could, but you have to count on your brain's interpretation of a beep and knowing what 0.5
exactly. And
it's less knowing that you could shoot more. It's more to make sure if it beeped while you were shooting, you're still good.
Someone did argue that with me. They're like, you had another 0.3 seconds, idiot. And I was like, I defy you to you pull up a timer. See if your brain picks that one out.
Right. So
it's like doing the test where you drop the ruler and you try and catch it on a certain part.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. So just to encompass what's going on here. So the start area is this X mark, and it has to be outside of shooting area. So your hands have to be touching this. You can either be on the complete left side or complete right side. So you have, no matter what you do, you have to make this U-turn happen, right? So you start here, and you're gonna if you're starting left or right, you're hitting either one of these 2 targets before you start making your way back, hitting the ones on the outside, and making your way back in to hit these remainder 2, right? For a lot of people, on our squad at least, most elected to go from left to right, which, if in all honesty, I found kind of perplexing because I just thought it was inherently slower because of the way it made you stop. But hey, either way was in theory viable. So some people would start here on the left side, they step out, draw, hit these 2, hit this tux backing up, and then they would make it back here, all the way in the back here, and to hit these far out corner targets, right? The issue being, they're being, not that it's bad to be stationary here to hit them, but again, you have 8.7 seconds. So staying there longer than a second, you're really cutting it close here, right? I saw way even like super like really high level GM friends of mine being stuck here, and well before by the time they made it here, the time was up. Like even at, they couldn't even reach the last array. The time was up, right? Or those who did shot over, and it was like 9.01, so that counted as a penalty, which sucks,
Yeah.
right? Like the
I don't know.
0.01
Did anyone in our squad like ace all the targets and time? I don't know if anyone.
in our squad.
Yeah,
I think Tony might have. I can
maybe.
double check
Yeah,
that.
maybe
Tony
Tony.
was really quick on that one. So I
Yeah.
actually did a similar plan to his, and you and me did the same thing. So
Mhm.
we let it go from right to left. The logic
Yeah.
being that once we, and keeping in mind, most of us are right-handed shooters. We go here, eliminate these, and
Well,
we
it's way easier to tuck that corner and punch out
that's
right
what I'm
hand.
saying, because you have to understand, and let me actually zoom back out to the screen. If you look at my little screen right now,
Mhm.
if I'm moving backwards from left going back right side, and obviously I don't want to break the 180 with the muzzle of my gun, because if I break the 180 and I get disqualified, I'd have to. It's easier actually to just put the gun above my left side shoulder, so I'm looking where I'm running towards to without breaking
Yeah.
the 180, so that by the time I stop and I'm looking at where I'm stopping, all I got to do is turn back out. My gun's already where it's going to be, and I just have to aim. Versus if you're a right-handed shooter and you start on the left side, you'd have to turn your gun downward out here in order to look away so you can see where you're running. And then that just, in my opinion, takes inherently a longer time for you to snap back and then get your sight picture back again, right? And so,
Mhm.
given that, let's go back to the screen here. You know, given that, most people who took this route, you hit this last corner and you're able to much more easily hit these two, and then immediately jot out of here, jump out of here, or like rocket out of here to hit this on the move, hit that on the move, and then end and hit these last two, right? Tony was uh that guy's really quick. I'm pretty sure he probably hit them all. I think I have to double check, but he hit these actually backing up. Really ballsy. He hit these two backing up. So he didn't even stop here, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
If he did stop, it was still like leaning motion. He was still his body was still in motion. So that second he was
Mhm.
done, he was already moving. And you may not think about that, but if you can make your body move and do something, you're always going to be inherently faster for the most part, right? So
Mhm.
that's what you and I did, and I can
Yeah.
quickly go to my footage right now, right here. So
Yeah. Yours was your biggest cheerleader. You hear me just like screaming in the background when you pulled it off. I was like,
yeah, man. Yeah, it was a fun one.
yeah, you had to just like, there's no like, I got to think about, like, no,
Yep,
just send it, send it, send it, send it, send it, send it.
that's you. And that was 8.5 seconds. And then
Yep.
we
You
can go
get
to
like,
first person view.
Are you ready? Stand by.
pop up, pop up, pop.
Ready
Yeah,
to let you.
yeah, no, you got everything on the money and the time. Yeah, you
So
nailed that.
the one thing was I had a mic, and keeping in mind a fixed stage usually means that it is a no penalty mic. So if you miss,
Yeah,
you don't get any points off for that. So really, the incentive being is that like your confirmation level is almost all level one, almost all of it.
yeah,
If it's a level
it's
two, it's a very fast level two, because
yeah.
you have very little time. Like you're almost just saying, let's get some fucking hits on paper, like really.
Yeah.
And um,
You are, everyone is now at my level. Fuck it, we ball.
yeah. And so the reason being why I had one mic was it was on the move on this partial tuxedo, because I'm booking it. As soon as I'm done here, I'm shoving past. And my first shot was alpha, then my second shot dragged and hit the hardcover here. I remember that. Because I'm just flipping it, right, and then I'm immediately smashing this super fast transition here. And so, yeah, that's where
Absolutely.
you see the efficiency aspect of it. Is just like the second I'm done, I'm moving on, and that's where your stage planning comes into play. So you're not sitting there. You don't have to think about what to do next. It's just happening. And performance wise, for me, that was stage 2B. So I think that was 13th in carry optics out of 114, and that was
Yeah,
uh,
really.
46 out of 315 for overall.
Hell yeah, that was like a fuck banging stage for you.
It was a fun one, man, and I spent a lot of time just observing other people because shout out to my GM level buddies who helped me out a lot, but that was the one time I went against their advice. I was like, I don't think that's gonna work out for me, and I think I was right.
So then we can get into like speaking of advice. So we'll talk about it, and then we'll play the video of me running this one. So leading up to this stage, you and other people were like,
We doubted you.
"Oh, dang! Like, sorry, bud. You have to do. You only have 9-round magazines. You're gonna have to do a reload. You're shooting this giant gun. Like, there's no way. There's no you can't. There's
Yeah.
no way you can reload.
I remember we were walking over from the previous stage, knowing that this fixed time was coming up. I had warned you about the fixed time even like the few days before, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, let's just aim for half the targets. Hit those 9 shots or 9 or 10 shots, and then just stop. Don't shoot over. Don't get a penalty." And I'm just like, yeah, like just basically written off. Like it's literally impossible for you to even like reach the end of it.
And then something happened. Something that I knew was impossible, but it happened anyway.
With shots happening.
Yeah, there's no way you can make it all the way around with this gigantic gun and make this reload and do
It's been finicky on reloads, like everything about it.
Yeah, everything about this was like not like this was not the stage.
The odds were like not in your favor.
Yeah, the odds were not in your favor. Here, I'll share mine.
Yeah.
We'll
Screen share.
Yeah, screen share. I'm learning.
Technology.
I might not be the smartest monkey, but so I did have one little like, oh, okay, like I'm there. Let's see where
There we
go. All right, yeah. So I start hands on, and I was just like, "Where'd you going? Go!" Which like drawing an eagle that fast.
Holy
The older
shit.
one didn't get it. You can see right there, basically, there's that one that's further in, and I didn't step back far enough to immediately have a sight picture on it. So I was like, nope, we keep going, we don't stop. And like this, like pulling this corner, I was like, either I'm going to make this perfect, like step left foot, pivot right foot, slam the reload home perfectly and punch out and nail this, and we're going to gas everything after this, or I'm going to miss the reload and just like, hurl a magazine
real quick
over the berm.
Hide that real quick. Because at this point you were at.
Well, hey, Leighton, just play it uninterrupted first.
Okay, we'll just play the whole thing. Okay, yeah, yep. Yeah. Just drawing an eagle that fast, and then hitting a reload on an eagle that fast.
Literally, your cleanest reload to date.
That was.
I mean, I had a lot
insane.
of really good ones.
That was just like.
It was like, yeah, man, sure as shit, clean the clock. the only one I was like, nope, we're not like wasting time like going for that one. Is I hit this and I miscounted like stepping back there, and I was like, nope, we're not hunting for it. We're just going.
Exactly. Yep.
That was wild.
So like
one in the background, it's just like, holy shit! Oh my god!
Yeah. So the caveat, this is that that stage. I remember watching you and just when you were hitting that reload, just thinking to myself, holy shit. But
it's happening. It's Anakin in the pod race. We're like, it's working. It's working.
So when the only real issue being, because I mean your splits are insane, the reload was crispy as hell, and you're moving it, you're booking it, was just that you had forgotten to hit that that target that was I believe it was like an open onto the far left corner, right corner, because you didn't back up far enough, so you couldn't see it in that barrel.
Right inside.
Yeah. I basically just made this like really on the fly, like audible, like no, we're not hunting for that target. We're going to clean the rest of these.
Exactly. You made the right choice given the mistake that happened, which is how you adapt, which is good. Again, no penalty, Mike. So, but I mean, like other than that, like that was awesome because I know when you ended, you had plenty of time to have hit that had you backed up. Like this whole thing could have been done
because I hit it in 8.2, so I had 0.8 extra of a second. But like, who knows what could have gone wrong in that extra 0.8?
Right.
So
let's just say, like
whatever.
in theory, like let's say all things consistent with that speed and that reload, you could have hit that other target and it would have been relatively clean. That was really impressive. Everyone was like blown away. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Someone was like, did you actually hit anything? And I was like, actually, yeah, like basically every target I pointed at caught some bullets. Some of them, though, it was like, again, just shooting that fast with the Desert Eagle, it's like, good hit.
Right.
Yeah, good hit, roll for intimidation.
D's for diploma.
Yeah, D's for diploma. or like on the tuxedo targets, like I know for a fact, like I think I hit like, basically would have hit someone in the junk, and then the tuxedo would have caught one, which it's like someone wearing like the John Wick like tuxedo. It's like, well, I don't know, man.
He doesn't want to fight, I promise.
He is out for the rest of the film. He lost his entire pelvis, and then he got like basically hit with a Mack truck in his little bulletproof suit. So I think he's done.
Yeah, no, crazy stage.
that was super fun.
Fixed time stages are some of the most challenging, but also the most fun, because that was the third fixed time I've ever shot in USPSA, and the last time I shot one, what I took away from it was like the mentality you have, like you just, okay, it's go time, like it's just all gas. There is no slowing down. There is no makeup shots. It's all about the second I see any sight picture that's I deem acceptable in that millisecond, I'm sending it, bam, 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 right? And like for example, right, like you see that partial no shoot, what would you normally do? Like, okay, level 2, bang, bang. At most is like bang, bang, right? For this one, it's like, oh, gas it, we're going, bam, machine gun time. We're snapping it, yeah. And that's when you what I like about fixed stages, it really forces you to like use that subconscious like training. It's like all the things that you've done so far culminated right now. And what's the old saying? Like, you don't rise to your highest level of training, you fall to your like lowest level or whatever it's called, right? Like that's basically what this is.
You perform as well as you've done your worst day.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow your lowest level of training. Yeah.
Right.
You don't rise to the challenge.
Right. So like it was cool. Like I love those. Obviously, I wouldn't want an entire match of only fixed stage. That would be a little fucking crazy. But yeah.
The day would be so fast.
The day would be so
fast.
Oh,
Phil would love that. Phil would love to just give an excuse to gas it. Yeah.
Just be like, who can hit fucking ball status? It'd be me and Phil just like, we're sending it.
Yeah.
What are we hitting? Who knows? Are we having a time? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The time.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll move it on to like overall thoughts for the like doing a 2-day shoot with the deagle. What do we think of that? Like, maintenance aside. So it's so not meant for this. At the same time, like it legitimately me and it together, because it's kind of a combo deal. Like I don't know if there are a lot of people not because I'm a special, super talented man. I'm so much bigger than most people. I'm so much goddamn bigger. Like, if you're watching this, there's such a good chance that I'm so much bigger than you are. Comically larger. Like, not even trying to flex. It's the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Like
Alan Richardson watches this video like, look, liar.
Somewhere at home, Fjord Bjornsson is like, you are not telling the truth. It's like,
man, it's literally just they're all sitting there eating popcorn for no reason. Like, this puny man.
Thor Bjornsson, Eddie Hall are like, we should go get portable cannons. Just if you're not them,
that would be wild to see.
That would be.
I would love to see them shoot like deagles for a USPSA setup.
I would have so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, at some point, if we ever that's
somehow this kicks off, that's a good goal.
People keep asking us what the goal is with this channel. It's to get Thor Bjornsson.
Definitely one of them.
Yeah, to get Thor Bjornsson and Eddie Hall to hang out with us and shoot Desert Eagles.
Who's the guy in the latest Reacher?
Yeah,
7 foot tall dude.
Yeah, but so it legitimately, us paired together, could do things that no one would have looked at that gun and expected, like, oh yeah, it's gonna pull that off. Like, no way is that gun like pulling fast splits. Mm-hmm. No way is it clearing the clock on certain stages. No way is it like
surviving all the stages. Like
surviving all the
accelerated parts where for the 2 days in a row like that.
Yeah, so was one of the reasons no one has ever even kind of considered shooting a major with one of these.
Or even if they did,
like the cost aside, the gun not being made for it aside, it not being competitive aside, is like Magnum cartridges. Just in general, it's like shooting an ultra high, like a super high pressure. It's like 40 cal Glocks when they first came out wore really fast because it's a high pressure round.
Yeah,
the gun's not really designed to sustain that high pressure for a long period of time. There is no building, unless this was 20 pounds. There just wouldn't be a way to build a gun that's like a handgun, portable
like,
size.
You had to put fresh springs in it after day one.
Yeah, we literally shot a full day and then swapped out the recoil
We
springs
literally
for
got
day
home.
two.
It's like we were here and it's just like I'm checking the springs that we shot through the day, and it's like, and I picked up the other. I was like, damn.
Yeah, these guns were
beaten.
These guns were meant for like, okay, like, you know, you were like,
it's a utility.
It's a utility, and like in the modern era, it's like, well, not in the modern era. Like at the time, it was like utility gun, or like, man, that Buick is gonna get it. Like, that's what these were for, or like, oh, there's a bear, man, I'm gonna already have this gun loaded and ready to go. And then I'm gonna get that bear, and then if he keeps coming, I'm gonna give him some more gas.
My splits will be better than my revolver.
Yeah, like that. And you know, man, if I really have to, I can get 9 more rounds in this faster than I can with a wheel gun. It was not meant to run matches.
Plausibly.
Yeah, it would maybe like
under duress. Like you managed it under time. Now let's do it under duress. We're gonna throw you in with that gorilla. All the guys are fighting.
I don't know if I'm fighting the gorilla and someone hands me a desert eagle. I think maybe I got.
Also, that gorilla has one too. They're both at the final boss.
It's the cyanide and happiness. It's like baby with a gun versus 3 babies taped together with 4 guns. but yeah, no, like it's like not competitive in any way, shape, or form, but still capable of doing things.
Unless you want to win chrono.
Still capable of doing things that are very, very impressive and so much fun.
But just getting it, like the last stage, which was again a really fun stage. We might clip that in.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry about it just yet.
Yeah,
the last watching stage, it like chug through the end of it, where it's just like you were literally like, "Come on, baby."
I know. I'm in the video. You can hear me, and I'm like, it kept having it always has the same malfunction, and a lot of it's the magazine. Also, the gun is tired. And the springs are getting beaten down, and some of the parts are beaten out of spec from the abuse that I'm giving it.
Hilarious.
And like it'll always has the same malfunction, and part of it is that it's feeding rimmed cartridges.
Yeah.
As the springs get tired, as the gun gets tired, and the gun was very tired by the end of it.
Yeah, like one of the failures that we would find because of the rim, it's like when it would come out and the extractor would catch the side, and I would just find like the Jurassic Park like claw mark through the side of the rim.
Yeah, like the gun is like
Raptors have been tampering with your bullets, dude.
The gun is like there's just an overworked crew, and they're just like feeding cannon cartridges in as fast as they can, and the extractor's like, wait, no, come back! Like we weren't meant to do this
When you
fast.
put it like that, the Abrams does outshoot the autoloaders.
Yeah,
To be clear,
I mean, other than a power factor, I mean, I could probably outshoot an Abrams in terms of speed.
Yeah, that no new channel goal.
but like, I mean, I'm literally like the last stage is just me like okay, just like clear. It's the same malfunction over and over again. It's going too fast. The extractor isn't grabbing the cartridges out most half the time, and I'm literally going like, "Come on, big girl! Come on, big girl! We're right at the finish line." So I'm like,
Wilbert's on deck. Eric's in the hole. Travis is in the deep hole. Final shooter.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Is it toes or heels?
Heels.
Heels. Okay.
Heels. Make ready.
Oh, that would have been unfortunate. Yeah. There we go.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Same dadgum thing. Dadgummit. Come on, big girl. Come on, big girl.
pep talking the gun as I'm like,
You're like Patrick Star.
Across the finish line, like
You guys know the episode
everyone's looking
in SpongeBob when they're racing snails?
Hank doesn't want to go anymore. It's just
Like, I mean, it's fitting, Patrick, right? You're like Patrick Star. They're racing snails, but his pet is a literal rock, And then
Yeah,
he's just like, "You got it. You go at your own pace, girl. You got this."
I'm like just pep talking it across, just dragging it by the
worked.
leash.
Can't
Like,
tell me it
you
didn't work.
will finish this.
And there was like an almost like panic in your voice, getting the last bits of it through, because we went through the mags that were like running great, and we were like, we have to go through the ones that have just been like,
Yeah, I had three mags that were new, and I don't think the entire time with the new mags I had a malfunction in the new one. The problem
outside
was
of maybe like tipping out from like
maybe
rip it
tipping
and
out
go,
from
that
ripping
might be
and-
the only, but
yeah, from ripping and
standard
ripping.
feeds, those ran great.
Yeah, from the new mags with fresh springs, and especially with fresh springs in the gun, did not really have any problems with those unless I tried to do like load
Yeah.
too fast things. That caused problems, but that's more me just like monkeying part of the thing too hard.
I'd even say if that was more like
the problem
magnets
was
versus
there almost
normal.
were no stages where I'm not at reload 4 and 5, and now I'm at the mags from the 1980s being like, and D20 roll every time I pull the trigger, just like dice roll,
It's a
dice roll,
D9.
dice roll, dice roll. Ah, critical fail. Dang it.
Yeah, no, it was that last stage. Like again, it was just wild watching it like get there, and we were just like, we're done. We got it.
We did it.
No more maintenance. No more.
No more maintenance. And also, it was like there's like this funny moment. I was like, we were like, if I don't DQ, I'm the first guy to do this. It's the stupidest goal, but by God, I did it. We did the thing. Didn't DQ. The gun made it. It didn't explode. It did some things that were legitimately impressive. And like on a couple stages, there are people that lost to a goofball shooting a cannon. Like, you know,
And
hey,
then
I'll take it.
that's why we're there. I guess
And it was so fun. So fun.
And I guess also while we have you here, we'll give a couple quick questions, just more USPSA related. For someone that's like getting started in, now that you've vested time and you know the backdrop of it, if you will. If you were going to tell someone getting into USPSA, even if they were using a deagle, what's like the first things you would really look into to practicing on?
Well,
Like,
you know,
outside of just like obvious dry fire, like
Right.
what's thought processes past that?
I mean, well before you start doing a major, you know, I'm kind of assuming that
I'm
you,
even just saying like getting started into like showing up to your local clubs.
yeah,
doing a
yeah,
level
like
one.
you should be
Get a
shooting local
practice score
matches.
account.
Yeah, you should have a practice score account, and you should be shooting, having shot several like local matches like well before just major has come up. Like I want to say like at least having shot like 6 or 7 locals to really get the hang of it, understand the rules properly, understand how to plan stages. Probably a lot more than that even. Like I think
There's an ebb and flow to things that happen. Like, all right, that's done. You wait. You don't touch this until they've done this.
Exactly.
You listen to these calls. There's a whole process how everything works.
I mean,
you want to have that.
yeah, if I'm being honest, like I would say like at least shoot like I don't know, half a year's worth of matches, like, you know, maybe like and out of those months, like 2 matches a month or something like that, and then in like a deal world, just so that you really understand like what you're getting yourself into, and that you're developing yourself at like a pretty good level. Now, you know, it's just a major is just a like longer version of a local, if you think about it that way, right? Now the in terms of things to prepare, like the matchbook is released at least like a week early, probably like even 2 weeks early. And once you get the matchbook, it's going to detail you your schedule. It's going to detail you all the logistics, itinerary, but also more importantly the stage design. So once you have that, look at that stuff. Obviously, you won't know it until you're there, but mentally prepare yourself. How would you attack this from here, from a top-down view, and then the day before the match, you know, like most majors are on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, unless you're staff, you're shooting at staff shoot at Thursday usually. Friday is when you have the option to like, oh, I want to do it all one day if you're crazy like that, right? Friday and Saturday, I think. Now you should like, if in an ideal world, come in Friday or Thursday. Like if you're off work or and drive there, walk the stages when people are done. After they're done shooting, even there should be like an hour or two of just letting people walk stages. So take
Go
that
walk the stage,
opportunity.
they'll point you a banana because an Italian man will yell at you because that's a pointing device.
Yes, yeah. You know, if you're in the middle of competing, do not use a pointing device, you know, etc. But once you're there, you know, the first time, like my first level 3 match, because it was just an insane volume of things to remember and so many stages that I was literally getting my phone out and recording it from my point of view, like what I'm doing, you know, on the stage walk to help me remind myself, right? So that way you're not coming into the day of shooting super cold and not knowing what to expect because on some of those, dude, I mean, I actually did come in cold because I didn't have time, the opportunity to even walk it.
Yeah.
So
You had a busy Friday.
yeah.
We were out there.
Yeah,
Like, didn't have
because I
time.
had a lot of things going on. So when I came in that Saturday morning, I came in pretty just like really cold. And dude, some of those because your squad could be really packed, and it can really impact how much time you have to remember stuff in stage walk. Like I forget which stage it was, but I really felt like I needed more time. Like I needed at least another minute to ingrain what my plan was. But because the line was so damn long and everyone was just like taking their sweet time, it really impacted
everyone's
that.
cheering for.
I literally most of the time people were doing the lineup to walk the stage. I'm having to sit there because I can't stage plan it the way that everyone else can because of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I literally I'd stand off to the side out of everyone's way so I didn't bother them and just sit there and be like, look for groupings of targets of 4 where I could then plan a sprint and a reload.
Right.
And like maybe a 3 in case I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna have to get to one of my mags that might malfunction here.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can like plan out these last couple where I'm only shooting like pairs of 3 targets or something like that in case I have a screw up I can run and fix it.
Right. So really like your prep aside from the literally shoot a lot of local matches, dry fire, any actually the topic of dry fire, since you know more or less what to design, what to kind of expect, try to set up scenarios in your dry fire that's going to mimic the most challenging aspects of those stages. Like, okay, did it work out for me on that first stage we did, which was the strong hand, weak hand only, which we haven't shown yet? I mean, it would have worked if I didn't mic that one time, but what was I doing beforehand? I was setting up my target. I was practicing only, like specifically going from freehand, reloading, then going to strong hand only, or freehand, reloading, going to weak hand only. And so working that aspect, right? Try to take out as much of the guesswork as you can, and that will, do what you can to help yourself out. And then, I mean, that kind of more or less what I have to kind of offer at that point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, sort of final, and like part of why this channel exists and why like I go around and shoot matches and do silly things. I'm gonna transition to like for USPSA specifically. I'm gonna shoot a gun that's like odd and historic, but like way more geared for what we're doing.
Good. Yeah.
But
close enough.
Yeah.
By comparison, almost absolutely.
Yeah. By comparison, light years ahead. But like one of the purposes behind this is like, hey, if you want to legitimately get better at shooting, other than going and taking classes, even if you're going and taking classes, like you need to have something outside of that where you're taking this and using it practically and getting like objective feedback on how you're actually doing. Matches give you that. It's one of the only things out there where you can like say take classes on whatever defensive shooting or whatever you want to do, pistol 1, 2, 3, wherever you're doing that, and then you can go somewhere and you can shoot on a timer with a hit factor and get objective feedback, and it will make you better if that's what you commit to doing. And it looks for a lot of people like from the outside looking in, it looks really intimidating because you go like you look up USPSA on like YouTube and you're going to see 10 million videos of dudes with like the same like 5 to 10 guns going so fast that you're like, I don't even know.
The first ones you're going to find are the cream of the crop because that's what everyone that's already studying it is going to find. So you see this dude who's like, I saw one of Ben Stoker's the other day where just like he just up bang 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 does quick reload and just drops 6 steel like it was a thought for him.
Yeah, and when you see that's all you see when you think competition. You go, oh, I don't know how to bridge the gap between me and that. That doesn't make sense. It looks really intimidating.
Yeah, but you have to like kind of put that idea of you doing that behind it and really just think of like, how fast can I feasibly do that?
Yeah.
In my head, can I bring that to what I'm doing physically now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not as intimidating as you think. Most people aren't shooting
especially
like that.
if you take it fun first.
Yeah,
that's another big part. I would say.
Like shooting is fun. Matches are fun. They're supposed to be fun. If you lose the fun, like I'm not saying there's no point because you're still doing something that's objectively bettering you, but it should be fun. Shooting is fun, and if it's more fun, more people get into it. So we try to make it look fun. We'll cycle through things that like we've gotten comments like, dude, that's like the Call of Duty Desert Eagle. Like, yeah, we'll go shoot matches with Call of Duty guns so the Call of Duty kids can see, like, dudes shooting the guns that they know, and like in a setting. And then you're like, oh, okay, well that's like I am not Ben Stoker. I am not JJ Rakaza. Like it's not nearly as intimidating watching the big silly monkey shoot the stage. Even if it's competently, like it's more attainable and it is clearly more fun. It's not nearly as serious.
Yeah, like
we want to get people to actually go do the things that will make them better.
Speaking of that,
the more people we can get into it, the better.
We went and shot another match the other day, and it was like, all right, now that you've done that, let's have him just shoot a regular gun. So it was just like, the first thought was to shoot what he will be shooting a bunch, but I was like, but that's in 40, so I was like, hold on, let's have him shoot
just like
a 9mm gun that weighs half the weight of what he was shooting anyway.
Yeah, just like a normal, practical, like good double action, single action, 20 round, really nice, like
duty gun. Remember when SIG made good guns?
Remember when SIG didn't have Skynet installed in all their pistols?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, these are the SIGs that don't try to kill you randomly when you're like it's just sitting on your backseat or in your holster. It just does gun things good.
Don't ask DJ Shipley.
Don't ask DJ Shipley.
Again, that's just like a cop rapper name.
If a P320 goes off in a holster and DJ Shipley looks around, does it even happen?
Were their arms crisscross applesauce?
Were their arms crisscross
applesauce? T-posing?
I really want to see footage of like someone just like the guy with the groceries just goes off on his hip and he's like nope, his arms weren't crossed, didn't count. I said
the
arms
ghost
crossed.
Touched it. I can see the ghost.
I can see the ghost. SIG's not the problem. It's the ghost.
It's the ley lines, dog. You know about ley lines.
But just shot a normal gun. I'm going to transition into shooting something that's like cool and historic. The 1,002nd H&K USB ever produced.
Yeah,
super cool.
They were first in 40, and you know what? To keep up with the major power factor idea, we were like, "What's a neat gun?" And he was like, "Can you find me a USP 40?" And I was like, pretending like I didn't have one I was about to bid on it anyway because I found that specific one. I was like, I think I could find one.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah. We're gonna cycle through some cool guns that people have seen and people know about or have interesting cool stuff about them, interesting historical stuff about them. We're gonna shoot them, we're gonna try and shoot them fast, I'm trying to shoot them as best as I can, and we're going to try and have a lot of fun doing it and be very entertaining in the process.
And like again, with the deagle, he didn't win anything specifically, but there was always a raffle. That's the other cool part about the majors is there was a raffle at the end.
Oh yeah.
And you did get this thing that is now like the deagle's other holster.
Yeah, the deagle's other home. Yeah, it's Outlaw Leatherworks.
And that was the
she was
Stephanie, right? You said her name?
To be clear, I don't know if that's hers. She was just
that
excited about the
it's
bag.
not like she got a picture with them anyway, and it was a really cool thing to have happen.
Yeah, I know, and it's like really, really nice. Lily was like, my wife was very excited when I got it home. She's like, "That looks really pretty," and I was like, "It is. It's very nice." Yeah. So shooting majors is a fun time. Shooting matches is a fun time. Shooting a deagle, even though it's silly and to do that with it and not meant for that, man, it's a good time.
And it's a fun little asterisk. If you go to your first major, you don't win, you might just get something from the raffle too.
Yeah, they usually do some pretty fun things at majors. Yeah, there's usually like a raffle. Yeah, there's usually like a raffle thing, so you can just win something. At Space City, I got the raffle, and there was literally a prize table. So if you recall, you just pick what you wanted. So I picked a primary arms 1-6 LPVO, and hell yeah, this is mine. I just sold it to a friend.
Yeah, just snag a $300 optic off the table. Cool.
Yeah.
Hang in.
Yeah. So it's always cool going to these things, right? Because usually how it works is you can win a trophy if you perform like the top 3 of your classification, top 3 of your division. If you win your division, if you are winning your category, like senior or ladies or LEO military, and then of course obviously if like overall you're like top 3 or 4
in your category ultramarine.
Ultramarine. Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah. I winning first place A class for salamander. Yeah.
All the targets, like, what am I taping? I heated it with all the Melta.
Well, that's the other thing about USPSA, like from the outside looking in, that people don't realize is so like all the divisions, like C or classes, where it's like C class, B class, A class, M class, EM, all of the metrics to get to those things, they're objective. you don't have to go to matches and beat. If like the whole match is GMs, it really, if you're just searching for like, I'm going to get to be a B class shooter, I'm going to get to be an A class shooter, it really doesn't matter how you score against them. The timing and the hit factor and stuff like that, you're only competing against yourself, really. And those guys are honestly there to help you in most regards.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not.
Whether they like it or not, you can watch them. You can just leak that knowledge. But most of them are really, really cool, and they'll help you out. And you can watch them, stage plan and watch them
Oftentimes they'll like give you pointers when you're done. Be like, hey, you could have done this,
and this, and that.
Things you might not have thought about.
Yeah, and you're only competing against yourself, and you can totally get into this and be like, okay, I'm gonna start in this. I'm not gonna be very good. I'm gonna hit some qualifiers. I'm gonna be C class, and then B class has objective metrics. I can grind my way to that, and then you get there, and you're like, okay, A class is the next thing. I'm gonna, you can break it off into chunks that are objectively measured.
Yeah.
And you are just objectively this level of shooter, and you can just kind of go up the rung. And you're not necessarily directly competing with the people that you're there with until you get to GM, and you're all there at the top, and you're like, all right, well, now it's time to start punching sideways. Then you can. But
right. And another small thing to understand too, like majors are also potentially good for your performance. I mean, in terms of your classification, because if there are a certain number of GMs, I believe it's 3 GMs. I'm trying to remember exact math here at your major, and they perform over 90%. Then if you perform well, like to the percentage of your overall score, that could potentially class bump you, or at the very least count as a classification towards your ranking, to your score to reach you.
Cool.
Whatever. Yeah. So for instance, I was an 80% overall, or 84% in carry optics. That actually counts.
You beat Modern Samurai.
yeah. That was so
that
counts towards my classification. So which is great. So that's pushing me further to go towards M class. My friend, that was his first major, who was C class, he just got a class bump to B class. So good for him. Shout out Gabe. And my objective coming into this match was like I wanted to perform at least at an 80% overall level at a major, and I'm happy to say I did. Like that was one of my long-term goals. But my secondary goal, and arguably more important, was beating Modern Samurai Project. That was really the most important one.
And you achieved that goal. You sailed past that goal. Honestly, if I hadn't zeroed a couple stages and had like 1 or 2 less mics, I might have sailed past that goal.
Yes. So we can show up to sign up to a class and be like, no, I'm teaching now. It's mine.
No.
Look at me. Sure. Look at me. Sure. I'm the captain now.
See the scores? See the practice score? Pull up your practice score. This is my class.
Seppuku.
That's the rules. You have been defeated in battle. Dishonor.
You tell him, Rick-san.
Yeah, just hand him the little short tanto. Stand behind him. Yeah, stand behind him with the blade.
Insert scene from Last Samurai. Yeah. Yeah, insert the scene from Last Samurai. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm absolutely going to do this. It's just gonna be Rick with the Modern Samurai Project.
Oh man, yeah. Next is Tulam. That's next. That's the next samurai.
There you go. Does he shoot matches?
No.
No,
he never will. No, no, he won't.
It does not seem like
say that now.
I don't figure we're going to see two.
Somehow this random podcast will bully him into it.
Yeah, that'll be the point of this podcast.
He's going to pack up his special swords and show up.
Don't fear death, fear me.
Hell yeah, yeah.
The ones from the game where he's like pulls.
The ones he was selling for an exorbitant amount of money. That's the same thing.
That's everything that you've ever made.
Now, honestly, I do like that Hollow Sun.
Ronin Tactics Hollow Sun.
I like. It's just a vintage big screen TV.
Yeah.
Like that thing's. I want one. I'm gonna get one.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
I won't say he has all bad ideas. I just think some of it's a little goofy. But you know what? If it works, I will say. Whatever you do, you boo.
Credit where credit is due. Credit's not due everywhere, but it's due some places.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, majors are fun. Shooting is fun. Deagles are fun. We're gonna shoot more. We're gonna shoot lots of stuff.
I guess Rick, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you all for joining us as well. sitting through all this. I know you're probably listening it like 2.5 times, but you know,
Yeah.
if you learned something, or at least we made you laugh on your long drive home or something, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like and subscribe or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That people or don't. I'm not your dad.